Hello students. So students, I hope you have completed all your assignments, homework, classwork, and I hope you all are understanding also. So let us continue with the previous chapter. What is neutralization, students? What do you understand by term neutralization? Neutralization, it is the process in which acids and bases they react to form salt and water. Okay. Now students, potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate is a salt. Can you tell me what is a acid and what is a base which is used to form potassium nitrate? Acid and the base, because potassium nitrate is a salt, means acid and bases they reacted to form this salt. So what is the acid and the base in this? The acid in this is nitric acid, from where nitrate ions are formed, and the base here is potassium hydroxide, from where the potassium ions are formed. And the hydroxyl ions of base and hydrogen ion of acid, they formed water. What is the acid and the base in aluminum chloride? Acid and base in aluminum chloride. The acid part in aluminum chloride is hydrochloric acid, from where chloride is formed, and the base is aluminum hydroxide, from where the aluminum ions are contributed. What is the acid and the base in copper sulfate? The acid in copper sulfate is sulfuric acid, and the base is copper hydroxide. Students, common salt. Common salt. Now this is also salt. So common salt is formed by the combination of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Formula of common salt is NaCl. And hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, they react to form salt, that is sodium chloride and water. And this is the salt which we use in food, and actually it is neutral. It is neither acidic, neither basic. How we know the acidity and the basicity of a salt? Children, generally strong acid and a weak base gives acidic salt. A strong base and a weak acid gives basic salt. And a strong base and a strong acid gives neutral salt. So hydrochloric acid is a strong acid and sodium hydroxide is a strong base, which gives the reaction between the two gives salt, sodium chloride, which is neutral. Children, sodium chloride is found in seawater, okay, in a dissolved form, and many salts are found in seawater, from where the sodium chloride is separated. Now, the deposit of solid salt are also found in several parts of the world. Some of the large crystals of this salt contain impurities, and because of the presence of impurities, it is brown in color. And this salt is called as rock salt. I hope everyone has understood this thing. All of you are understanding this thing. Now, common salt, which is a raw material for chemicals, means many chemicals are formed using common salt as the basic or the main raw material. And those chemicals are sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder, and many. So let us see few of the chemicals which is formed using sodium chloride as a main raw material. Sodium hydroxide. Now, children, in sodium hydroxide, when you pass electricity through the aqueous solution of sodium chloride, aqueous solution of sodium chloride means in water sodium chloride is dissolved, and that is called as brine. When electricity is passed through it, it decomposes to form sodium hydroxide. okay, and chlorine. The process is called as chlor-alkali process. Chlor means chlorine is formed, that is why the name chlor, and alkali because sodium hydroxide is formed. Okay, so the products formed in this chlor-alkali process is sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen, but main is because of the formation of sodium hydroxide and chlorine. I hope it's clear to everyone. Now what happens here? The electricity is passed through aqueous solution of sodium chloride. So electrolysis is taking place. So chlorine gas is given off at anode and hydrogen gas is given at cathode, and sodium chloride solution is found near the cathode, as you can also see in the picture. Just have a look in the picture, children. Now students, the chlorine gas is generally used in the manufacture of bleaching powder. You can see in the picture important products of chlor-alkali process. Bleaching powder. I think all of you are aware of bleaching powder. What is bleaching powder? Children, bleaching powder is produced by the action of chlorine gas. Which chlorine gas? Which is produced in chlor-alkali process. When this chlorine gas, when it acts on slaked lime or calcium hydroxide, then bleaching powder is formed, and the formula of bleaching powder is CaOCl2. You can see the equation here. Calcium hydroxide, it is reacting with chlorine, or when this chlorine is passed through calcium oxide, you get bleaching powder and water. Now what are the uses of bleaching powder? That all of you are aware. What are the uses? It is generally used for bleaching cotton and linen in textile industry, for bleaching wood pulp in paper factories, and for bleaching washed clothes in laundry. Okay, as an oxidizing agent, bleaching powder is used, and the main important use of bleaching powder is disinfecting the drinking water to make it free from germs. Now we come to baking soda. All of you are aware of baking soda, that while preparing some of the foodstuffs, the baking soda is used. Okay, and sometimes it is also added to fasten the cooking. The chemical name of baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. It is produced using sodium chloride as one of the raw material. I told you that sodium chloride is the main raw material in many chemicals. So here in baking soda also sodium chloride is the raw material, and sodium chloride, carbon dioxide, water, and two salts here, ammonium chloride and sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is also called as baking soda. Is it clear? Now when this baking soda is heated, okay, it is decomposed into carbon dioxide, water, and sodium salt of acid, and moreover carbonate is present, so it will give carbon dioxide. So in some of the foodstuffs, when you add baking soda, that fluffy feeling, it becomes fluffy, spongy. That is because carbon dioxide is secreted, carbon dioxide is evolved, which gets entrapped in the food. I hope everyone is understanding this thing. Any doubt, if anyone has, can ask. Now uses, you can see for making baking powder. This baking soda and is used for making baking powder. Children, please don't get confused with baking soda and baking powder. Baking powder is different and baking soda is different. So baking is a mixture of baking soda, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate, and a edible acid. You know, edible acids are weak acids. Okay, so it is the mixture of sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is baking soda, and the edible acid. Understood or no? Children, when baking powder is heated or mixed in water, what happens? Okay. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is also an ingredient in antacids. In some of the antacids, sodium hydrogen carbonate is used. Why? Because sodium hydrogen carbonate, its pH, that is more than 7. So here it acts as a mild base and it neutralizes the effect of acid. It is also used in soda fire extinguishers. Is it clear? Now we come to washing soda. That is Na2CO3.10H2O. And it is used by heating baking soda. When you are heating baking soda, sometimes recrystallization of sodium carbonate takes place, which gives us washing soda. So it is a basic salt. Is it clear? You can see in the equation. So while heating baking soda, the recrystallization takes place and we get washing soda. The uses of washing soda is, it is used in glass, soap and paper industries. It is used to manufacture the sodium compounds such as borax, and it is also used as a cleaning agent for domestic purposes. Washing soda is used for removing permanent hardness in water. I hope it's clear to everyone. Water of crystallization. Children, sometimes some of the ionic substances you all know, which are made up of ions, they crystallize from aqueous solution with molecules of water. They form crystals and the crystals contains molecule of water, and that is called as water of crystallization. Like CaSO4.2H2O, that is gypsum. Now when these crystals containing water of crystallization is heated, they drive off the water and they become anhydrous ionic compounds. What are hydrated ionic compounds? Hydrated ionic compounds means the compounds which contains water of crystallization. And what is anhydrated ionic compounds? Which does not contain water of crystallization. Water of crystallization is actually the fixed number of water which is present in the one formula unit of a salt, like CuSO4. So CuSO4 is one formula unit, and how many molecules of water are attached to it? That is 5 molecules of water. So, and this is called as a hydrated salt. Hydrated salt means salt that contains molecules of water, and these hydrated salts, they are in the form of crystals and they have some color. But when these hydrated salts are heated, they lose water molecules and they become anhydrates. Anhydrates means they change to a powder form and they lose color. They become white. As you can see here in the picture also, hydrated salt of copper sulfate, pentahydrate. Penta means 5, hydrate means molecules of water. And this is, you can see blue in color, it is in the form of crystals, blue crystals, but when it is heated, it changes to white powder, which is called as anhydrous salt. Is it clear to all of you? Plaster of Paris, it is prepared by heating gypsum. And on heating gypsum, it loses water molecules and becomes calcium sulfate hemihydrate, which is called as plaster of Paris. And you all know for what plaster of Paris is used. Okay, it is used for making some toys. It is used for when the bones are fractured. So at that time it is used by the doctors. Okay, so these are the uses. Okay, now children, you can also see then gypsum. What is gypsum? When in plaster of Paris, when water molecules are added, it changes to gypsum. From gypsum, when water molecules are removed, it is plaster of Paris, and when water molecules are added, it forms gypsum. I hope it is clear. Now you can see here some of the uses of gypsum is also given. Anyone has any doubt? You can ask. Children, now I hope it is clear to you uses of plaster of Paris also and gypsum also, it's given here. Okay. Now children, you all know that this plaster of Paris, that is used for supporting fractured bone in the right position, and plaster of Paris is a white powder, and on mixing with water it changes to gypsum. So this is one main point of difference. Okay. Now I have given some of the classwork questions to you. So after hearing the audio or the video, you will finish those classwork questions and submit me before the class gets over. Okay, and try to maintain the time. Okay, children. So with this, I finish chapter 2, acid, bases and salts. In the next class, we will start with the third chapter, that is metals and non-metals. Thank you, students.